Thousands of revelers in shimmering costumes are back in the SAMBA Dome, where Rio de Janeiro hosts its annual carnival parade, dubbed the world's largest street festivity. But this year's grandiose spectacle is anything but typical. It's being held in April, 2 months after carnival season, and it's the first since the COVID-19 pandemic struck Brazil 2 years ago.
We come from 2 years of hardship and loss. Many of our dancers and singers died in the pandemic, which killed 660,000 people in Brazil, the world's second largest death toll. Lockdowns severely impacted imports from China, where we used to buy material for costumes.
The main theme this year is the fight against racial discrimination in a country that has the largest black population outside of Africa. 12 samba schools are participating in this parade. 8 of them are singing about Afro-Brazilian religions, against racism, against intolerance, and in favor of Brazilian black roots and rights. Samba composers started writing their songs in 2020, just as Black Lives Matter protesters took to the streets in the United States. Many say it inspired them to make a political statement about Brazil.
Brazil, like the United States, has a debt with the descendants of African slaves. It's time we correct this historical injustice.
Brazil is preparing itself for divisive presidential elections. Blacks account for more than half of the country's population, but they still face exclusion, discrimination, and religious intolerance. Samba schools paid tribute to their ancestry and to deities of Afro-Brazilian religions who have come under attack by evangelical gangs in recent years.
Many of our temples were destroyed. Religious intolerance is a crime and should be stopped, but the government has turned a blind eye because of political reasons. President Jair Bolsonaro has the support of the evangelicals and far-right groups who are threatening democracy and diversity. We have to fight for our freedom of faith.
Compared to previous years, when millions of people flooded the streets of Rio to participate in Carnival, the city was quite empty. But the parade still brought a much-needed financial revenue to the samba schools.
The pandemic pointed a finger at the social gap between rich and poor, black and white, but it also showed us that we're mortal, because no matter our colour, our blood is the same, and that we should be grateful for those who survived.
The international audience for this year's carnival was smaller, but the themes of social and racial discrimination have struck a chord with Brazilians as they prepare to elect a new president in October. Yanakiew, Aljazeera, Rio de Janeiro.